6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Looks like we are live. Looks like, sounds like the sound is working. That's good. It means we're going to get started. How do you keep going for years and years and years? That's something we're going to talk about today. And I hope that's going to be interesting enough. For those of you who are watching, my name is Toby. I am 41 years old, and I train to live an active, self-sufficient, and adventurous life. I do so by minding my sleep. I try to get between 7 and 9 hours of sleep in a night. I am currently miserably failing at that objective because I am ill. It means I'm coughing. It means it makes it just generally a little bit harder to fall asleep and to sleep well. So I've been going to bed later and waking up earlier than I intended to, but that is just my natural rhythm. Somewhere around 6 a.m. I definitely usually wake up. Not a lot to be done about that. So here we are. The good news is I'm feeling better than yesterday. The bad news is I'm still feeling a little bit under the weather. But hey, we're not going to talk about being ill. We're going to talk about other fun things today. If you're interested into health, fitness, longevity, kettlebells, then this might be the channel for you. Because those are all things that I talk about. At 41, I have around 26 years of experience of trying to get fit and healthy under my belt. I am also a certified personal trainer, functional movement, lifestyle coach, and I have seen my weight fluctuate over those 26, 27 years of living in different ways, and I have, for the last 8 years, worked very hard to bring my weight down. As you can see in one of my long-form videos, what I learned about losing 22 kilos, and to keep it off and to keep it within what I would call a healthier parameter, and trying to stay healthy by living a healthy and active lifestyle with all of the challenges that entails being a mere mortal who has a job and a family and a life to keep up with, and who also once in a while has to contend with the common cold, which got to me just now. Something I'm still mentally coming to terms with because I thought I was unbeatable. But hey, here we are. So I talk about food on Mondays, sleep on Mondays, food on Tuesdays, movement on Wednesdays, connection on Thursdays, hobbies on Friday, motivation on Saturday and Saturday. That's what we're going to talk about, motivation. And we reflect on Sunday, on the week, to keep track of our progress, and we keep going in. Usually I would talk about today's training because I would do a workout before I recorded the podcast. Then we would talk about today's topic, and then we'll talk about making a small change, but about motivation and about reflection. It's not about small changes. That's more related to the topics of Monday through Tuesday, through Wednesday, through Thursday, through Friday. That's where we can make the minor habit adjustments that might serve us for a lifetime. So if that's what you're interested in, what I was trying to say is go ahead, hit like. It helps the stream. Say hi in chat, hit subscribe, and we can continue the conversation in this video or in any of my other videos or under any of my other videos or live streams, and hopefully by Monday I'll be back to working out and live streaming those again as well. But since I'm sick, you take it easy. I'm going to go for a walk after this, but I have to walk to the baker to pick up some fresh bread for the day. That's the extent of it. Not going to do much more today throughout the day, I'm afraid. That is a nice cup of coffee. Okay, so look, let's talk about motivation, right? And let's talk about keep going. Because health and fitness is something that I've been coming back to throughout my life over and over again. Like I said, I've been doing this for 26 years, at least, maybe even a bit longer without knowing it or without being conscious of it. And I think one part of motivation that we need to learn or come to terms with is that throughout our life, at different points in time, we are going to find health and fitness relatively more or less important. That's completely fine. I think that's completely normal. But it is going to be a recurring theme in life. I think we find it somewhat important the way we look as a teenager, and it becomes more about the way we feel as we get older, although some of us also keep focusing on the way we look as we get older. But for me, it has gone from, wanting to look good when I had summer holiday, when I was a teenager, wanting to lose some fat, wanting to look like the guys on the magazines, the fitness magazines, and in the movies and in TV, to being healthy and actually understanding what being healthy means, to staying in what it seems to be a good and healthy shape and size for my body and for me. So it's going from chasing something external to pursuing something that is within me, namely, do I feel good, capable, competent, fit to live an active, adventurous, and self-sufficient life. All along that spectrum, there are things that we can learn about health and fitness. There are things we can learn about health and fitness when we're trying to look a certain way, when we're chasing certain health markers, when we're doing sport for enjoyment and pleasure. There is always something we can learn about how that impacts us in terms of our skill, in terms of our cardiovascular health, in terms of our bone mineral density, in terms of our muscular strength and conditioning, in terms of how we eat towards certain goals, in terms of how we drink, how we sleep. There are a lot of things we can learn from all of those experiences. For long-term motivation, it's important to have a goal in the medium to long term. And for some of us, very tangible goals like running a 10K or setting a personal record on a specific lift or losing a certain amount of kilograms of fat or gaining a certain amount of size of muscle are very tangible goals, or even setting a daily calorie count and working towards that can be very tangible goals. However, sorry about that. However, what we also need to understand is that the cycle of goal setting and achieving them and then moving on, goal setting, achieving them, moving on, requires us to set new goals over and over again. For me, what seems to work better is to have a big overarching long-term goal or lifelong goal, which is to be fit, capable, competent for an adventurous, active, and self-sufficient life, not only now, but also when I'm 85 or maybe even 95. And to then translate that into different habits and goals that I have every day. So, for example, the prime training goal is to show up every day for 30 minutes and do something for those 30 minutes, right? The goal with sleep is to try to hit those 8 hours every night. The goal with food is to eat within my energy balance and to eat predominantly greens in varied forms and colors. And so breaking that down into very simple things that I can do every day, that doesn't have me thinking about this every day and planning every day meticulously, but simply developing habits and routines that enable me to do those things without thinking about it, so that I can focus on all the other things in life. There's no fun and joy in streaming with a cold. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about all the background noises. But here we are, right, committed to the cause. So that has helped me, and I think figuring out your motivation can take time, and motivation can change over the course of a lifetime, right? What motivates us today might not motivate us tomorrow. I think I've now found something that seems to motivate me for the time being, but also seems to be realistically a theme of motivation that keeps coming back throughout life, because it's always been about, getting healthy, getting in shape, learning new things, being healthier than I thought I was, because I couldn't physically do the things that I wanted to do at different times in my life, and building on that, right? As a father, I also have the goal of setting a good example for my children. That motivates me to no end, and those two things taken together help me stay focused and motivated in terms of what I want to learn about health and fitness, how I apply what I've learned in my life, and how I try to explain the things that I've learned and things that I do to my children, just to ensure that they at least learn about what I know, or my best knowledge about sleeping well, eating well, moving well, making friends, and doing things that we enjoy for the sake of doing them, for learning and for mastery. It can take a while to figure out those goals, but as long as we have a goal and we're learning something about reaching that goal, and we can always decide later whether that is the goal that we want to keep pursuing, or whether there's another goal that we want to pursue instead, and we keep learning and we keep going. And I think that is one of the keys to living a long, active, self-sufficient, and adventurous life, and staying fit, competent, and capable to do so. So hey, those were my 15 minutes today. I hope those were useful. I hope there was some insight there around motivation that is helpful for you. I am still feeling a bit under the weather, so maybe it was a bit unfocused. But hey, here we are, at least showing up and doing the work on a Saturday morning. And I hope you will as well. Hit like, subscribe to my channel. Tomorrow I'll be back. We're going to reflect tomorrow because it's Sunday. We're going to set ourselves up for another week of pursuing a healthier, fitter life, not only short term, but also in the long term. And if you have any questions, you go ahead and post them under my video in the comments. Remember, friends, we're good just the way we are. We've got to love ourselves before we can move on. It's the person we are today is going to get us to where we want to be tomorrow. So a bit of kindness is going to go a long way. And the only way to get anything done is by showing up and doing the work. So I will see you tomorrow. Rain or shine, cold or no cold. Be well, friends. And remember, subscribe.